Okay, everybody. It's time for me to expand a little bit on the lecture section. We had a nice session last night, and of course, this is the week number 1, 8/15/17. And I'll just open this shutter up for a moment. And as I mentioned last night during the live stream, there's kind of a couple of themes that are going on this week. In terms of the course. Obviously, the Harrelson Exam 1 over the intro and the Chapter 1 help provide you a larger context into which you can take a look at IT. And as I've emphasized throughout the course, IT is decision-centric. It's about how we use hardware, software, and people to create, to take data and convert it to information that we can use for decision making. And that feeds into business intelligence, which is one of the cornerstones for having an organization that is on top of what's happening in its environment, and at the same time is understanding its internal processes and what's going on there. And as I mentioned before, there are two basic templates in understanding an organization. I don't care what function you're talking about, the marketing function, the accounting function, or the IT function, or the production function. Those two templates are rooted in different approaches to strategy. One is the Porter approach. You've also heard of some things like the Boston Consulting Group, cash cow, a dog, a star. Porter believes strategy should be dictated by the industry structure, and of course, it's those components that include things like relative bargaining power with suppliers, the relative substitution opportunities with customers, those Porter's 5 forces. And so that's an overlay, over that people, hardware, software. And of course, then you have the business diamond there that he talks about. Now, a piece of this, and one of the themes was that business intelligence, for it to function, has to have not only data that gets converted to information, but it also has to be displayed or depicted in a way that can be easily consumed and that can lend some insights for us. And as you recall, up in the resources module here in this course, I have the analytical cube. And again, I can't talk about it enough. So I'm going to come up over to files here, and I'm going to search the analytical cube. And we'll do this. And we'll search for that. Okay. Let's try cube. There it is. There's the cube. My apologies about that, but I'll download it, and so we can see it. I've talked about this a number of times, and here it is in the JPEG. And I'll just open it up so we can see it. It's loading up, taking its time, isn't it? So I probably should have just downloaded the silly thing. Here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and magnify this up a little bit. But you can see, and at the top, here's a query for bikes, which is a dimension. Show me the profit margin, which is a measure for February, which is another dimension. And so they want to. So we're looking for the bikes, which is a product category, profit margin, which is one of our measures, for the month of February. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3 dimensions we're looking at here, product categories, okay, and the measures of them by time, okay. Now, if you were to think of this like if you were thinking of this in terms of, say, for example, a database, here's a query. If you think of this in terms of say, a pivot table, and let me say this, pivot tables are I think, one of the most intuitive, highly powerful tools that you can use, and I think it's a tremendous tool in Excel, and we can have a course on using pivot tables. But again, we're doing that slicing and dicing so that we run a query, we ask that question, okay? And so profit margins is that. So I'm going to close this cube for a minute, and I'm going to go back here over to the modules. And as you can see, I have week 1 opened up for this the week of the 15th of August. And I've got some sources for you to take a look at. We looked at ArcGIS by Esri, that company, and the lookup code as well. There are a number of great tools out there for you to work with, and I want to show you to show you one of them, okay? And that is Tableau, and I'm going to just go ahead and I think I've got Tableau on my desktop, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, I do. I have Tableau public, so I'm gonna click this off for a minute, and I'm gonna open this up. And let me go to the settings here, get this set up so that you see what I see, etc. I apologize about that. I always have to remember to do that. There we go. Now I'm going to look at my desktop, and I'm going to open up Tableau. And this is what we call one of these hybrid products. All right. You say, what do you mean? Tableau is intended to be a product that allows me to get the best of both worlds, i.e., the very best of a number crunching application, for example, Excel, and the very best of a database. And so you can see I've got some work that I've done there, and I just wanted to let you know, they give you an overview. They have a series of videos, intro to the interface, chart types, how to combine data to create your own dashboard. And let me say this, there is a textbook, 1 or 2, I have them that I've looked at that cover using Tableau, and they create what they call a viz. And let's look at this for a moment. Here's the viz of the day, and this will give you an idea. Here we are, and this is a dashboard looking at plane delays and tweets about them, okay, and giving us percentages of flights that have a delay. This is literally a series of bar charts, okay. And you see, if I put the mouse on here, it gives you some really incredible data in terms of tweets about delays. And here we're looking at Southwest, we're looking at Delta, American, yeah. So this is a dashboard. Now, you use dashboards all the time. If you do online banking and you go in and look at your account, you're looking at a dashboard, okay? So, for all intents and purposes, this is a tool, and now let me scroll down here. Who created this? Is the author is Sue Grist, and she was looking at different types of data around flight delays. And so that's a nice little thing. Now, again, Tableau has this gallery, if you will, and we can go back over, and we can go back in time and look at some others. Okay, and this deals with problems with insects. These are the viz of the days. Okay, and this would call on us to convert to English. Here's one from August the 10th, and I like to come over and take a look and just see and this is a dashboard that looks at, or a visual that looks at, and so again, breastfeeding in different countries, the level of it. And the nice thing is you can download these, you can share them. Again, when you download, you also can get the Excel file, and you can see, and Tableau's pretty is pretty intuitive. So I would encourage you to take a look at it, and it's a great resource to utilize. Now I'm going to go and create a new tab here, all right, and I'm going to go over to the New York Times, and we're going to take a look at the business section for a moment. And there's a lot of the stuff that's going on from the, a lot of stuff that's going on around in terms of politics, etc. And I wanted to find what I thought was going to be a really good presentation and show it to you. And hang on just a second, we'll get up. Now, as I mentioned before, here's an interesting presentation of data that looks, and this is, I think, done by the Congressional Budgeting Office, saying, okay, if there are cuts to the subsidies for those insurance premiums, and I'm not making a political statement here, so don't go away with that, but this is an excellent tool. I want you to notice that they have the data, okay, laid out in those, and what they've done is just basically superimposed over a map changes in premium increases. So they probably took the current premiums and subtracted from that and calculated the percentage change of what would be the current versus the old increases, or some type of estimate. And again, these are data from the Congressional Budget Office. And I'm not trying to make a point about anything, so don't use that as a takeaway. But what I am wanting to show you is an outstanding use of mapping data and providing you a visual picture, okay, that really tells you. Now, the only thing I can say that might make this better would be if it was a thermal map. It is in a sense. If you notice, there are states that have nothing in them. Apparently, these are places where there won't be any estimated income premiums. You could see, and then the other states, that shows you the percentage of them. Okay, and now here is a table. Okay, and looking at rate increase again. I'm not making any kind of a statement about this, but this is presented very well. Okay, and the same thing here. Here they're using a bar chart. Okay, that's inverted, showing some estimates, and so it's just excellent. Now here's one that is a very helpful and useful. This is a very, very helpful or excellent use of mapping. And you say, you're kind of on a theme. Yes, because I think let me say this, there are MOOCs, massively open online courses. Then I talked about Esri. There are plenty of ways out there to get some training on maps and creating them. And all I can tell you is that we have so much locational data that you just really can use it. And you can see here using this thermal, the counties are across the country, they'll have 1 or 0 Obamacare carriers next year, based on what people are saying. And as you can tell, it is a thermal. And this is in mapping probably one of the most prevalent for a very simple reason. The folks who really spend their time making these types of they call them a viz or visuals, it probably in the back of their head are thinking about weather station, the weather and what they see. And if you really want to see a business intelligence at its most well articulated and presented, and that would be the daily the weather, okay, and be it with the Weather Channel or your local station in Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas. Weather is a huge draw, market draw. So we have some really excellent people. We have a lot of almost everybody that works for our local stations are meteorologists, and they just, as I've said before, they have some fantastic graphics that they show you. Okay, so this is an easy thing to look at, and interpreting it. You could see there are clusters or regions where this will occur. Okay, now this is important because it gives it a source from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. And again, I'm not making a point of any type, so don't take it like that. That's just not what's going on here. I'm trying to show you. Now, this is an interesting graphic right here, okay, that shows you it's essentially a data flow graphic, okay, and I think it's well worth a look. So this is an excellent, and I'll go back over again into the sections, and let's look at some of the stuff that's going on in terms of the text section. All right, of course, all that business is going on. There are a lot of things happening, and I think this is an interesting article. I took a look at it. You'll want to learn a bit about in terms of privacy audits, and there are just some new types of tools. Here's an interesting thing, and as I've mentioned before, the New York Times has an excellent business and technology section, and this is for personal technology on pinpointing your whereabouts using Twitter. Okay, and so you want to take a look at that, and I think it's an interesting little thing to take a look at. Now, the use of visual data to convey a point, really is just incredible. Now, I'm going to go over to the business section of the New York Times. Okay, and I want you, if you look from over here, you'll see the deal book, the markets, the economy, energy, media, etc. And again, that's excellent. And that's from the business section. And then there's, of course, the text. Sometimes in the science, you'll find some interesting stuff for visual displays of data. Now, I want to alert you now to some mapping tools that are out there, and I'm going to show you one of them, and it's Batch Geo. Okay, and you can create an interactive map from your data. What it will do is it will let you take Excel data, put in addresses, and show you data points. Okay, there's an alternative. I've used them before, Easy Map Maker. Okay, and YouTube has how to make a Google map. Okay, using data from batch geo, and there are all types of instructions. And again, I would encourage you to take a look at them. We're seeing a real renaissance in terms of what's happening with the visual display of data and mapping. And so I would encourage you to go over and take a look at some of these tools that are out there. And even there's some articles here about how to use batch geo. So it's got an excellent use for it. I'm going to close this off for a moment, and I'm going to go over to the LA Times and close off with the New York Times. Here's another that I think I like the two of these because I think I get some different perspectives of what's going on in the business world from both coasts. Okay, and let's look at this. All right, and I want to find the business section here. Okay, and you see it, and it's worth taking a look at, and you can go over and see what's going on in terms of technology. They have a good section there as well. And there's an interesting article about that tweet that's now the most important, not the one most liked ever. So again, the visual display of data is kind of one of the things that we looked at and we talked about it. And I'm gonna look at the sections here, and I'm gonna look at California and local. And typically they'll have some data there that's provided by the public or posted by an entity. And I'm looking for that. And I apologize, I didn't just go right over there, but I think it's going to be over here. Here's an interesting thing. I believe that this is a chart that they have. Yeah, this is something that's published by the LA Times. And you'll notice this deals with homicides in Los Angeles County. Here is an excellent use of a map, and you can put your cursor, and you can see the name of the person, and they'll even put the photos up there. This is something. This is a way that the municipality, the county there, is trying to get people's attention about what's going on, and obviously. You'd want to take a look at it. Now I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, okay? And you can see as that cluster, but again, as I've mentioned before, we have data overlaid on this is an analytical example of the analytical cube where I've got this geographical data, a map, and then the pinpoints. In addition, I also can go in and look into a neighborhood. I can filter. I can sort it by the name of the person. And so it's an interesting example of the ways that counties are, and governmental entities are trying to use mapping. And I want to go over for a moment to the I want to find that link over to the course repository. And I want to show you, I've got some things over there I think will be worth looking at. And it deals with a storm and charting some storm data, and it showed up in the New York Times. Now, I want you to mention there are all kinds of additional resources over here. Okay, and I want to scroll down. I want to find that. So hang on here just a minute. And I apologize, I should have just gotten down here. more quickly and thought through, but I wanted to let you see it. I think it's in, I think I have it over here. Obviously, let me check this for a second here. Control F, and I'm going to put in storms. Well, I must not have it over here. Oh, here it is. Thank you for, I apologize, I'm stumbling around here. A storm's line of destruction. I'll open this up and take a view of it, let you see it. This is just an excellent, excellent depiction, visual depiction of data. And this is interesting because they got some reader photos of that storm, okay? And this is an old link. Okay, look on and see if we can see those photos, and we'll go back to the. I guess they've taken those down, and we'll look at the interactive map. Okay, this shows you. This is from a storm that occurred. Oh goodness gracious! Back in 2010, Manhattan experienced and Staten Island and experienced essentially a tornado, and these red dots were reports into the city on damaged trees. New York City is all about trees. Now I want to show you something that's just about as cool as it gets. This is a weather map. Now you're used to seeing these, and I'm going to play this, and it will walk us through the storm, okay, and how it occurred. And you can see, and you can pause it. And so what they were trying to ascertain was, okay, are we seeing is the storm, okay, and that occurred? What was its pattern like? And they also give you some wind speeds, okay, and even a nice narrative explanation. All right, and this is no different when you go over to your local weather and you do future. The Weather Channel, for example, has future casts. But you can see this trying to look at, okay, where's the largest amount of damage? And as you would guess, okay, you can look at the two maps, you can see the similarity, and obviously that would make sense, okay? And so that's, I think, is a very, very nicely done display of the data. And of course, having that future cast kind of thing or play, which is really nothing more than a series of slides. It's a fantastic resource, so I think it would be good. I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to go back over to the course, and there's that link, and you can go over and look at the resources that are over there, you know, for yourself. I'm going to go back to the home. Pardon me, back to the home for a moment. Okay, and as I had said, you know, don't forget about uploading that salon, and any one of those 4 files will be fine. I want to, I've mentioned this. You'll see I have an interesting little placeholder on, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm kind of a weather freak. I grew up in Oklahoma. How can I be otherwise? And this is, I think that this is from the National Weather Service. And again, this is basically a dashboard, and it gives you key performance indicators for what's happening with the weather. Well, first of all, it gives you this overall map, okay? And then you click to zoom in, and you can even choose a particular Doppler radar site. For example, Oklahoma City. You've got tabs for warnings and forecasts, a graphical forecast, radar, what's going on, water, air quality, satellite, climate, and then a whole series of things over here to the left for you to see. They even have a national radar mosaic, okay, that they've created. So this is an excellent, excellent site, and also has a search function. So it takes the visual display of data. And this is really more like what we would call a form, And we'll talk about that when we get to the databases. But I wanted to show you that because I just think it's just beautifully, very, very nicely done. Now, I'm going to also do a quick search over here at, I'm going to do KOCO weather, okay? And I want to get KOCO weather, sit down a little bit of search by it. And here's their they've got several, they've got a weather blog, they've got several resources you can go to. They even have a live, they even have an on-demand, if you want to go to a live discussion. And here it is, and now they're assuming that you want to know some things like the temperature, you want to know what the forecast is, okay? There's some stuff like the map room, how to survive a skidding car. Again, this is a dashboard assuming what people want to see when they're concerned about the weather. Hey, what's going on out there, okay? What's the temperature going to be? What's the high, the low, etc. So again, that's that visual display of data. It was one of the themes, all right, that we had. I want to finish up this lecture by taking a look for a moment at the OBU Library online resources. Okay, I'll move this up here, and you want to go over to those resources, and you can schedule an appointment. Here's Arika Bowles, who is one of the librarians. You could schedule an appointment with her if you're having some question. And what I like here is, do you need any help? Librarian is online, ready to help. And I'm going to chat. I'm going to click chat now, and I'm putting my name. You can do the same thing. Of course, we're doing the daylight hours, and I'm going to put in my and let's see if we can raise one of these people. And I've got I'll put in my email, and then my department, okay? And I'm not one of those, so I'm just going to, and let's see, I am a performer. And I'll start the chat, and let's just see for a moment. And the still librarian will contact us for a minute. Now, I'm doing this because I want to make sure that you understand all of the data that's there for you. And we'll see if someone's going to pop in for a moment and get to us. But I cannot emphasize enough to you how much stuff is there, okay? And there are books, resources, journals in the library, finding art helps. Also, market searches, quotes, etc. And we're gonna wait to see if the librarian gets to us, and they should be here. Let's hope quickly. This is interesting, and we'll wait for that. Now, you can see all of the data that are out here that are useful for you, okay? And I just can't emphasize that enough. But, well, we'll clear that. We'll end the chat because obviously they're busy there, or maybe they don't have somebody. Maybe they need, maybe it's summer, okay? But you can always, in that thing, and now we're disconnected from them. So I wanted to show you some more and visual display of data. And so I'm going to click off this resource, okay, but I do encourage you to go there and use it. And I apologize, we didn't have a someone there to visit with. And I was going to finish this up with that anyway. Before I go any further, and I don't remember if I've shown you this or not, but I'm gonna take a look at this from it. I'm gonna open up Word, okay, on my machine. And I don't know if I've spoken with you about this or not, but folks, Microsoft Word has a tool that lets you format data about references. And I'm going to click on references. And if you come over here, you'll see citations and bibliography. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to use it, or if anyone has told you about it. But this is, you can manage the resources and then generate a bibliography. And I'm gonna create manage. I'm gonna click on Manage Your Sources. And let me move this back. I'm going to. You'll notice I have a series of citations. Okay. So I'm going to create a new citation, and the type of source. Okay. It would be a. I'm just going to find a book. Journal articles, reports. Here it is, a book. And I'm going to put in the author. And I'm going to use our MIS Cases book. I'm putting in the author, Lisa Miller. Okay. And the title, I put it would be MIS Cases. You say, well, this is a little database that lets me just will create these sources in APA 6 for me. Absolutely. Maybe you've seen this. I hope you have. If you haven't, and we'll put in the subtitle there with application software. And we'll put in the year. And the year for this book, you can go over into the copyright, and it's the year is 2009. Okay, and notice I'm going to put show all bibliography fields, and it's published in Pearson Limited, and we'll see what they've got here. I'm looking over here, USA, and it's the Upper Saddle, New York. So the city is Upper Saddle River. Right, and the state, and it's New Jersey. Okay, and the country or the region would be USA, and the publisher of the book is Pearson Prentice Hall. And I'm getting this all from that inside page. Now, there's not much guesswork here. I'm just putting in the data that it asked me to provide. And there is no editor. We have an author. Then we'll look here for the ISBN number, the volume. And this is going to be the 4. Oh, pardon me. This is not volume. This is the 4th edition. And we're citing the book. And then we want to find, we'll scroll down here. And then I'm also, if it's an electronic resource, I would go ahead and put in these additional data. The month I accessed it and all this business, but that's not the case. There's no editor, and we have our data on the book, the publisher, okay? And you'll notice the little red dots that say if you're going to fill this thing out, here's stuff you want to have. That's the 4th edition. And I'll click OK. And there it is. And now I'm going to close this. There's some other, and I'm going to click on bibliography. And I'm going to click and with the references that I have, I'm going to insert the bibliography. You can call it bib, references, or works cited. I prefer this, and we'll take this down. And now you can see this new work that we've created. Now, if I do additional new ones, it will just do them, put in beautiful. It meets APA standards. And so the only hassling might be right here. Maybe should be 4 with a TH, so it's 4th edition. But otherwise, this conforms to APA. And I wanted to show you this, so you can see you've got some real tools that you can use. I want to end this because we've been going a little longer. I always do, of course. I'm going to click on Home, and I want you to be aware of the fact that there are some tools that you have in Microsoft Word that you can use to display data. And I'm going to click on the Insert, okay? And there's one on Shapes. And you'll see if you come down here, they have lines and basic shapes, so you can display data. But I think what's really a nice tool here is the flow chart. And a flow chart it shows us the flow of information or resources, but it has all the tools there and what they're about and what they stand for. And I think it's a great little tool. But I thought I would show you that works cited from Microsoft Word. Well, I'll close this off. And I don't want to change, save any changes to my document. And I'm going to close this week off again. Here's some resources for you to take a look at from week 1. And I would really encourage you to take a look at these if you've not had the chance. Well, listen, I really appreciate your taking a look. We had great attendance yesterday, and I enjoy it, and it was great to see everybody there. Thank you so much. The live cast sessions are not required. Now, when we get down to these last 2 weeks, okay, those are plenary sessions where I definitely want all hands on deck. Okay, and just so we'll stay on top of what's going on, I'm going to click on the syllabus. Okay, and this has got everything arranged by date. Everybody's done that. And I've already recorded the scores on this exam. And then tomorrow, which is the 17th at 6 p.m., you will want to upload any one of the 4 Salon files, and that'll do it for us. So, folks, thank you so much. I'll be back on with a lab, supplemental lab, and the supplemental lab we'll start on the next Excel case, and that's case 11, the Lake West University, and I'll get us started on that, and then we'll do and then we'll do some more of it or extend it when we have the live cast next week. Thank you so much. Have a great day, folks, and I'm going to pause the share, okay, and I'm going to stop the recording and then end the meeting.